Welcome to Absolute Health and Performance Education Hub. My name's David. I'm the co-founder and director of Absolute Health and Performance, in case we haven't met in person on the floor. And today we're going to be talking about mental health and exercise and understanding its benefits and what is the sweet spot to improve your mental health. So, exercise and mental health. What is the sweet spot? And today we're going to talk about exercise and how it helps us meet our basic psychological needs and what they are: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. We're going to talk about stress, depression, and the impacts of exercise. And then finishing off, we're going to talk about what is that sweet spot to help you maximize your mental health through movement, through exercise, through strength. So before we get diving into some of those key topics, a quick question for all of you. What is your body's first response to exercise? What's the first thing that changes? Are we suddenly fitter? Do we have an improved aerobic fitness? Are you suddenly stronger? Is there an increased levels of strength the second you start to move or lift or exercise? Are you more powerful or are you more explosive? Do we have increased flexibility? Is it suddenly a bit easier to touch your toes? Or do we suddenly have this amazing ability to burn fat? Is there increased fat loss? Now, which one of those do you think it is? Of course, it's a bit of a trick question. The first response that we have to exercise is it boosts our mood. Our mental health, our psychological health is the first thing that exercise starts to impact. So, basic psychological needs theory. Let's start there to sort of set the framework of what we'll talk about. It's a well-established model for understanding motivation and psychological well-being, and it's backed by more than 40 years of research. So this is not new stuff, but we're finding out more and more on how exercise is impacting this every single day. So our ability to thrive as humans is contingent on these three basic psychological needs being met within our lives. Now, autonomy, competence, and relatedness they are. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what each of those mean. So the key factors and how exercise links to them, starting with autonomy. Now, autonomy is our self-governance. It's our sense of freedom. The feeling that you have your hands on the steering wheel, you're in control of your world. Now, of course, exercise and taking control of your health, and of course, then also your time that you choose to do something physical, to go and have that strength session, that helps impact our autonomy in every aspect of our life. Our health is so important to our sense of autonomy, and taking control of that has impacts on our autonomy in every other aspect of our lives. Competence. Now, this is maybe also thought about as self-efficacy. It's the personal judgment we have on our own capabilities to achieve a desired outcome in whatever task that we go into. It's the foundation for our human motivation, our well-being, and our sense of personal accomplishment. So this is big. Our beliefs that we have touch nearly every aspect of our lives, and it's not domain specific. So what I mean by that, when you achieve success in the gym, when you feel fitter, when you feel stronger, when you feel healthier, that developed confidence flows into every other aspect of your life. And your competence, your self-efficacy affects your abilities to then manage all those external stresses that we just can't avoid in modern life. And the last one being relatedness. And really importantly, it's about being part of a community, feeling sense that we belong to something bigger. And physical tasks really help us bond with other people, with communities. So exercise with a friend, work out with your coach, go with a walk with a colleague. All of these things help to build relatedness. So a quick review on stress, depression, and exercise. Now, as I said, our first body's response to exercise is not physical, but it's psychological, and that's that mood enhancements. And this is before any physical changes. We have improvements in anxiety levels, it improves our sleep processes, and a more sustainable and controllable arousal levels. And in just one session, and in just 10 minutes, exercise has a massive effect on the ability to improve our overall sense of well-being and our mood. It's more effective than drugs in management for mild anxiety and depression, and it helps lower our blood pressure and our cardiovascular responses when we're exposed to stressful situations. So we improve our coping mechanisms to all the stresses we experience in life. Fitter and more active individuals are more likely to be able to cope more effectively with stressful situations in all of our life events, whether it be work, family, home, everything. And it's one theory around that, how that happens, is called the cross-stressor adaptation hypothesis. The fitter and stronger and healthier you are to manage physical stresses, also flows into your ability to manage psychological and emotional stresses. But how much should you do? How much physical activity, how much exercise, how much strength training should you do to maximize the impacts of exercise and your mental health? Thankfully, we don't have to guess. There's been a lot of research on that. There is a sweet spot for exercise and impacting your mental health. So from 2011 and 2015, they followed 1.3 million people examining mental health burden, which was measured by number of days off per month of work due to mental health issues. It was via self-reporting, and we looked at varying types, times, frequencies, and intensities of exercise to find out what's that sweet spot. They made sure all people and groups were matched in exercise versus non-exercise for age, race, gender, marital status, income, education levels, body mass index, self-reported physical health, and any previous diagnosis of depression, just to help ensure that the information they were getting about exercise and its sweet spot was a true indication of what was happening. Individuals who exercise regularly have nearly 50% fewer days off per month of mental health issues or feelings of stress, feelings of depression than those who do not. But there was a sweet spot. It's not just about doing a little bit here or doing too much. The largest association to help reduce mental health burden was in team sports, relatedness. It was in cycling because of the rhythmic elements to it and the calmingness, and gym. It was being in gym environments, doing strength training. And how long, how much? They found that the duration of 45 minutes for 3 to 5 times per week appears to be the sweet spot for your mental health. But they also found that absolutely anything was positive. So don't worry if you're not quite hitting those marks just yet. So a quick look at the graphs. We'll briefly review these. On the left-hand side, you'll see frequency. And this is based on the number of times per month that someone was physically active. And you'll see right here, there's a sweet spot between 12 times a month and 20 times per month of physical activity that was beneficial, most beneficial for reducing mental health burden. And you'll see it's an inverted U-shaped curve there. So there was diminishing returns if people started to do too much, and there was more beneficial returns if you weren't doing enough just yet. If we look over on the right-hand side, we see the appropriate levels of duration, and we see that right at that 45-minute mark was very clearly the sweet spot to decrease the risks of mental health burden. So 3 to 5 times per week of 45 minutes to help improve your mental health. That's the sweet spot. So a quick summary and tips of everything we've just run through. The most immediate and impactful benefits of exercise, it's not physical, but mental. And it gets better the more you do, up to a point, as we've just discussed. So exercise is critical for us to meet our basic psychological needs for positive mental health. And it reduces your risks of future depressive illnesses too. We want to be doing 3 to 5 times per week, 45 minutes with people, maybe your coaches that you learn from and enjoy being with. And that is what is key. Cycling, rhythmic activities, community-based environments, and getting into the gym and doing your strength training. But remember, even 10 minutes is immensely beneficial. So team, absolute community, make sure you are in there and you're lifting for more than muscles and bones.